Okay, so that should be the start. All right, then if nothing else, then I would like to welcome everyone to today's monthly meeting, our June monthly meeting. First, I would like to thank the chairs that made this possible. So, of course, we have Richard, Michelle, and Sebastian, as well as our communications and tech support, Matthew and Darren. Now, if you already don't know me, hi guys, my name is Claire. I'm a I'm on my way to become a junior in Walnut High School. I've been working with ACS-YA for about five-ish, maybe a bit more than that since then. And I hope I can continue doing that. And outside of ACS-YA, I also like doing video production, drawing, and writing. Now, I'll just quickly go over the meeting agenda. So, uh, I just introduced you guys, and I'll be going over the ACS-Y events. After that, we'll have our symposium recap from Angela. Then we'll have our social media update from Evan. And then Hannah and Jerry were supposed to present the web and app update today, but they couldn't make it, so I'll just be filling in for them instead. And then finally, we'll have our ACS-Y stop presentation from Annie. So just some housekeeping. Please type your name, grade, and school in the chat box for attendance. If you haven't already, change your screen name so we can identify who you are. Mute your microphone if you haven't already, and turn on your camera if you can. We, if you're unaware already, we are recording this and we might also possibly take pictures of this meeting. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box or save your questions for the end. Now, here's just, I mean, if you're here, I assume you already know about ACS-YA, but of course, we offer many opportunities for you guys, regardless of age. And of course, we are dedicated to spreading cancer awareness. And here are just a few ways you can get involved in ACS-YA. And if you haven't already, please make sure to fill out the ACS-YA registration form because you're going to be able to be notified of, say, future events or meetings like this. And of course, you also are able to log your volunteer hours, which of course I'm sure most of you will probably want. And then, yeah, here's just more stuff on volunteer hours. And of course, this meeting wouldn't be possible without our adult advisors like Ling, Sophia Young, Miss Sophia Chan, and William Tsai, and of course, our other great adult advisors. And then here are some of our ACS-YA youth leaders. And then here's just something important. We are currently looking to recruit some ACS-Y youth leads, specifically for entertainment that are specifically in high school. So for potentially June, July, and August for ACS-Y stop leads as well. So if you think you would be interested in any of these roles, then please contact us at acsforchange@gmail.com. And then here's some more stuff you can do to get involved in ACS-YA. You can start ACS-YA club at your school. We also have our Love Notes Around the World program, the ACS Relay for Life event, and the Youth Recycling program, which me and Angela happen to co-chair. So if you are interested in that, then feel free to email me or her. And then of course we have the PVSA. So if you ever have any questions about your volunteer hours or you'd like to submit them, feel free to contact Miss Sophie Zhang, or you can request your ACS-Y hours through our email.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I thought this program had a pause. Do we know it started back?
Um, yeah, I heard about that. So I'm currently not sure what the update is on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, I suppose.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then of course here is one of our events, which is about to be underway soon, which is our ACS-YA Youth Cancer Health Multimedia Contest. In fact, this was actually the event that got me into ACS-YA. And so this year, our themes are healthy living, cancer prevention, early detection, pollution detection, and health equity. And we uh, anyone can enter, and this time it is literally almost basically any age. We have an elementary category, a middle school category, a high school category, and our most recent one, which is the college student category. So you can either work by yourself or you can work with a team of up to 4 people. So there are 3 formats you can submit this through. You can create a flyer, poster. You can create a video, or you can start a social media campaign. And all the registration submissions are due August 31st at midnight. And all the files will be uploaded here. And then we have some QR codes and links here to scan in case you're interested. And of course, we have some awards, and I'm sure y'all are looking forward to some money, because who doesn't want money, of course. And even say, I encourage you guys to join this. Like, even if you don't win, like, you guys still get 10 volunteer hours and a certificate. So, might as well, honestly, if you have nothing better to do this summer. And I know a lot of people who definitely don't have a lot to do this summer. So, yeah, without further ado, we'll now move on to the symposium recap by Angela.
Hey, hi everyone. Claire, can you control the slides for me since you're the one who's doing it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so today I'm just going to go over our 2025 Asian American Cancer and Diabetes Health Symposium recap. So my name is Angela Unai, and I'm a student at Walnut High School, just like Claire, and I'm one of the ACS youth leads. Next, please. So here are just some pictures, and on the rightmost, we have the poster in which kind of goes over who our collaborators and sponsors are and some of the event details. And as you all know, it happened almost pretty much a month ago on Saturday, May 17th, 2025. The scheduled time was noon to 4:30 p.m., but I think we actually went over that time since there were a lot of very interesting topics that were covered. And then the other 2 pictures, one is just celebrating, I guess, all the people that made it possible. And then the other one is one of the presentations by one of the panelists. Next, please. So here are some statistics. I think we did really great. We had over 100 total volunteers, which is amazing, as you know, so many students, adults, and just all people of all walks of life were in attendance to help out and to support this amazing educational event. In addition to that, we had 21 total collaborators/sponsors. We had 8 amazing speakers who delivered really wonderful speeches, which, by the way, if you weren't able to attend it in person or you didn't catch the live stream, please, go back to the ACS-YA YouTube channel, and I'm sure that you guys can watch it in whatever language that you speak or, understand. We had 4 scholarships that were awarded to our ACS-YA, with the first place being Evan Chia, second place for Jerry Yang, third place for Miss Hannah Yang, and our special honoree for Mr. Nathan Ho. And then we had 3 main ideas that were covered. So the first topic, or I guess broader umbrella topic, would be cancer care and prevention. Then we also talked about tobacco's impact and the methods of cessation. And finally, we also talked more specifically about diabetes correlation to cancer. We had 2 PBSA award honorees, which were Swanika Liang and Tara Kim. We had 2 inspiring panels, and all in all, I'd say we had 1 successful Asian American Cancer Health Symposium. Okay, so here are some key takeaways for those who either maybe were really busy working on the day, and so, they were too consumed by their volunteer jobs, or simply, you want a little refresher. First thing is that our diet, our exercise, and so many other lifestyle choices is honestly one of the biggest things that we can do to prevent cancer. And I believe multiple of our speakers, multiple of the doctors did mention that whether it's the food that you eat, the way that, you exercise, and all of those things, they're really important because who knows, like, making one small change, maybe like incorporating more veggies, cutting out high sugary foods, all of those things can not only prevent cancer, but many other diseases. The second thing that we really talked about was how there's a lot of disparities amongst, I guess, ethnically different groups. And what I mean by this is that um, they talked about how we often get lumped as one big group of Asian Americans, but then we don't actually go and look into each ethnic background. For example, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, etc. And so the most important thing that they mentioned was that we have to do proper studies on each ethnic group rather than just calling everyone Asian American, because that way we can actually look at the proper data and come up with more specific targeted therapies for each ethnic group. And then finally, another thing that was spoken about was about our mindset and the way that we kind of have, I guess, a bias towards health issues. Because sometimes I know, especially since we come from mostly Asian backgrounds, uh, we may not necessarily know how to tell other people that, we're sick, we're hurt, we're injured, whatever. And sometimes it's also kind of, you get judged for saying these things, but knowing that your body, your health comes first and being willing to advocate, stand up, and go do the proper treatments and screenings, it's super important because all of these things can help lead to a happier and more successful outcome. Okay, so here's some food for thought. Uh, I noticed we kind of had some arguments with some of the people about the lunch system, and I do think that we need a better system in place. Maybe it's miscommunication, or maybe people had different opinions, but I do think that it's best that we do have like a ticket system, like how we did it for the youth conference, instead of the way that we did it this time, where there wasn't like a tracking system of sorts. And then another thing was we kind of really went over time by like almost an hour. So I think we do need to have somebody as a timekeeper for next year, so that that way, everything's going to be running smoothly and all of the speakers and MCs and everyone knows kind of what's going to happen next and we're not waiting around. Another thing that we kind of needed were more photography volunteers. And I'm suggesting that maybe we can do a shift system, as that way, I guess different volunteers can take over different time slots so that some of the other volunteers can still listen into the presentations and learn things. And then my biggest thing was the order of the speakers and slides, because we were missing some of the speaker slides and that caused several mishaps with the speaker order. And there was a little bit of an upset over that. So I want to make sure that next year we can maybe have more people that, cross-check these things. And in general, we also need to make sure that we know the order of these things on whatever list that we are given, so that in case of another kind of situation like this, we know how to handle it. But other than that, I want to congratulate everyone and thank everyone for making it such a successful symposium. And I hope all of you will continue to volunteer for next year's symposium.
All right, thank you, Angela, for the symposium recap. So next we'll be moving on to our social media update from Evan.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much, Angela, for such a thorough observation um and I like all the takeaways that you had about the symposium. I thought it was also very successful, even though I had to leave early for a school event. Um, Hi, I'm Evan. I'm a rising senior at Temple City High School, and I'm the current ACS-YA social media chair. On the next slide, I'm going to introduce On the next two slides, I'm going to introduce the new social media executive team, um, and they are all here today to say a little bit about themselves. So, hi, I'm Evan Shia. I'm the lead for the account, and I have been involved in ACS-YA since 2022. And a fun fact about me is that I have two orange cats. And next is Siona.
Hi everyone, I'm Siona. I'm going to be a junior at Livermore High School, so I'm here in the Bay Area. I've been involved with ACS-YA for about a couple months now, and I really like marketing, so I'm excited to work on social media. And a fun fact about me is I'm on my school's lacrosse team.
Hi everyone, my name's Cadence and I'm one of the leaders for the social media team. I am incoming junior at South Pasadena High School. And I'm excited to help promote cancer awareness.
Hi everyone, I'm Vishaka Rao. I'm actually based in Texas at the Audi International School. I've been involved with ACS for about a year in my own state and also with ACS-YA, and I've been super happy interacting with you guys and all the community. I'm super passionate about healthcare advocacy and access for all, especially through media with social media posts and also videos. And a little fun fact about me is that I love to play the violin and sing.
Thank you so much to the three of you. I'm really excited to see where the social media will go in the next half year. Next will be a review of the May and June postings. Even though we didn't have a May meeting, I just highlighted some of the posts that we did. So on the left, you can see the May 31st is World No Tobacco Day. And then on the right, there's the promotion for the multimedia contest. And then at the bottom is the AAPI screening post by Cadence. So all of these posts were made by different people. And I think what I saw is that's really helpful that everyone gets like their own day and then everyone else gets a little break. So it's not just the same person doing it for the same month. So I think that's one of the benefits of alternating for the posters. And we are still looking for more people to join our social media team. So if you guys would like to help with these posts, please don't be afraid to contact any of us for opportunities to join. Yeah, I can go to the next slide. So something that has been in the works is the ACS-YA Discord. Tara actually made the entire Discord server and has like information channel, an announcement channel, I think like a general chat channel. Even though it's not active right now, we just are looking for more people to join. I think Tara's in the meeting right now, but I don't think she had anything to add to it. But yeah, the link is here. So can someone send the link into the chat? Because I'm actually not on my computer right now, so I can't paste any links right now. So yeah. So yeah, just join the Discord and then we'll have more things there for you soon. And that's it for the social media update.
All right, thank you, Evan. And moving on, I'll just quickly fill in for Hannah and Jerry since they couldn't make it today, but they are leading our website and app. So for the website, they are currently working on adding pictures of our symposium and as well as a recap for that. And according to them, for the app, their team members will be wrapping up the last few changes in the summer. And now we'll have our ACS-YA stop presentation from Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie, and I'll be facilitating the stop presentation. Next slide. So, the tobacco industry, marketing strategies and promotions. The tobacco industry has been historically employed various strategies to target youths and create a new generation of tobacco users. While some of these tactics have been limited due to increased regulations, they continue to explore different strategies aiming at hooking a new generation of tobacco addicts. So, for decades, the tobacco industry has deliberately employed many strategic, aggressive, and well-resourced tactics to attract youth to tobacco and nicotine products. Many internal industry documents actually reveal in-depth research and calculated approaches designed to attract new generations of tobacco users, from product designs to marketing campaigns. aimed at replacing millions of people who die each year from tobacco attributable diseases with new consumers, which are youth. So for the YouTube video,
Hold
I put a
on.
link in the chat.
Oh, okay. I got a sec. Sorry. Oops.
Figure it out on your
Oh,
own.
wait. Can you guys hear the clip? Hold on. Let me just
Yeah.
I let you in on a secret.
Can you guys hear it? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You might be able to figure it out on your own. Not everyone does. Over the years, many have bought into it without even knowing. That's right. Tell us stories to make us feel good. Time goes by, people change, but it's still there. The same old story. Just look different. They even try to make it sound like they have healthier alternatives. They use innocent strategies. It's dark genius. And every year, 8 million people enter an early grave. But the real secret is that it doesn't end there. The industry persists. It grows aggressively, like the diseases it causes. And every year, it creates 8 million new gaps in the market. And it doesn't care who fills them. Even if it's someone like me. The tobacco industry is targeting children and adolescents to replace the 8 million people their products kill each year. Speak out. Tobacco exposed. Vaping.
Okay, so after this watching this video, how do you feel? I want to ask everyone, how do you feel about the tobacco industry and tobacco use? Could you identify some strategies that tobacco companies use? Feel free to unmute or type it in the chat.
Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Feel free to mute right now if you have any thoughts, or you can type it in the chat, she said.
Yeah, I can say something. I think tobacco use is honestly, it's not given the same weight that it actually carries in terms of its health, um, the harms that it causes for human health, and it's sort of, you could say desensitized, but it's not portrayed in the actual harmful way it is, and sort of in, like advertisers will use it to promote, I guess, having fun or maybe feeling a certain way, but it's not given the appropriate connotation that it should have.
Thank you for that. That's very insightful. Yeah, I think we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so tobacco health. These are some tobacco health images from CDC and ASH about tobacco prevention. So the purpose of this is mostly to communicate about how the tobacco industry views people like vending machines and doesn't treat them as actual human beings, but rather of objects of profit. So, for example, like in the first poster, they had a plan to target certain demographic populations of people and really just target certain people. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. And here's another example. So like here is a picture showing how multiple tobacco company chief executives actually testified that they didn't think nicotine was addictive. So this is just a clear example of how their deceit in trying to get people to use tobacco. And here's also some examples of advertisements and clear misinformation. For example, like a doctor testifying that it's not too unhealthy, and many like pretty and people on magazines actually smoking and using tobacco, while actually when you smoke, many chemicals harm the person and body and cause addiction and sickness. And also, it is a drug, so it does not help with any like mental health issues like depression or anxiety, but these actually send the wrong message. Okay, next slide. So, and even more examples of influencers such as politicians and athletes who all endorse endorse tobacco use, but actually these actually suppress your diet. And well, wait, they say that it suppresses your diet and actually give clear misinformation using like people who look popular and handsome to make it seem like a fashion. Okay, next slide. Yeah, here are even more pictures of advertisements and influencers using like good-looking people again, and like wealth associating with wealth and beauty to target specifically women and convince them to take up smoking. Another example is on the very right, Marlboro Men. Yeah. Okay, next slide. So before in the previous slides, it was mostly past advertisements, but this is present advertisements of tobacco with like popping colors and a cool message that is actually targeting the youth of and populations of modern times. Yeah. And okay, so here are a few of the many quotations from the tobacco industry's archives that show the industry knows nicotine as an addictive drug and their products that their products are nicotine delivery devices. However, so they actually put these on their things, but they know the nicotine's effect. Okay, next slide. And from the 1920s to the 1950s, the tobacco industry undertook a marketing campaign to hide the hazards of smoking and lure new customers to its products. After I finish talking, we can watch this video, which combines campaign images and the commentary of Stanford experts to demonstrate key tactics in this strategy. With the number of smoking-related deaths estimated to climb from 100 million to the last century to 1 billion in the 21st century, this retrospect provides insight into the industry's ongoing pursuit of profits at the expense of public health. So I can post the video link in the chat.
Okay, just give me 1 second to load the clip. Do I just play this all the way through?
Yeah.
All right.
The exhibit is a collection of images, advertisements from the late 1920s to the early 1950s of tobacco ads from a variety of companies. Beginning in the mid-20s, tobacco companies understood that the public was becoming concerned about the health implications of smoking.
Prior to this time, there were a few rare cancers known to be associated with tobacco. But by the 1920s and 1930s, the lung cancer rate is skyrocketing, and people start finding all kinds of filth in tobacco: arsenic, lead, diethylene glycol, other poisons. In the United States itself, at the end of the 19th century, a third of the entire federal revenues were from tobacco taxes. So tobacco has been a huge source of revenue for states throughout the world, and that's one of the main reasons governments are so reluctant to take any reasonable steps to halt the epidemic.
Tobacco ads have been extremely effective over the years in luring people to smoke, retaining them in smoking, and luring them from one brand to another brand. These guys had enormous art budgets. They had the very best artists and the very best designers that money could buy. Some of the themes that we have in the exhibit, and there are a series of them. One of them is the image of the doctor. Many famous movie stars and athletes were portrayed specifically. This individual, Ronald Reagan supports, Joe DiMaggio supports this cigarette or that. With doctors, it's never a specific individual, but they come right out of central casting. They're wise, they're humane. As a matter of fact, the images show the doctor in the very best possible light. That's why organized medicine didn't object. Very few physicians at the time saw this as an evil or a danger. And by drafting off of medical authority, the cigarette companies seek to reassure the public that their product wasn't dangerous, even though it was. And they knew it to be so at the time.
The industry was definitely tailoring its campaign to whatever the hot worry issues were. So in the 19th century, already you had people like President Grant dying of throat cancer from smoking a pipe. And so throat cancer was recognized as it was called, a tobacco cancer or a cancer of smoking. And that's one of the reasons the throat was focused on early, this idea of a T-zone, throat and taste. The industry also talked about things like toasting. You know, we toast our tobacco, and that's because some people had worried about tobacco as a cause of tuberculosis. And the idea was that toasting was like sterilization. And so we sterilize our tobacco so it's free of germs.
One of the other devices they used was tread on the public's belief in science. This was a time before the skepticism of today about science. You know, science during this era was, Buck Rogers and beyond. People looked towards the future very optimistically. It was before the atomic bomb, for example. So the cigarette industries understood this authority. So they used pseudoscience. You might see somebody who's obviously a scientist sitting with a cigarette looking through a microscope, or a scientist with an early space program motif behind them, or a scientist with a laboratory behind them. And very often they quoted scientific studies that were completely invalid. Often they were paid for by the industry to make a specific point rather than to ask a question. And that these were very simplistically put out as scientific findings about the safety of their tobacco product. Marketing to women is very clever. Before World War I, if a woman was seen smoking, it was a direct code for prostitution. Normal, God-fearing women simply didn't smoke. Now, beginning with the women's suffrage movement and with the sense of women's independence in the 20s, the companies began to sponsor learning sessions for women to teach them how to smoke and how to inhale and how to fashionably hold a cigarette. So by smoking, you're going to stick it to your husband or stick it to your father or whatever, and this is a sense of your freedom. In the 20s, they had this wonderful, I say in the sense that it brings wonderment, reach for a lucky instead of a sweet. directly looking at women's waistlines. If you don't smoke, you're going to eat more. And this is a common theme in advertising through the years, although there it was very clearly articulated. Now, beginning in the 30s and 40s, it became very fashionable, and women are often shown in very elegant poses, looking like movie stars, holding cigarettes in a very sophisticated way. When I asked my mother why she began smoking, oh, it was the sophisticated thing to do. The tobacco industry has an unusual marketing problem. People begin using their products, begin smoking, when they're teenagers or young adults. Nobody essentially as an adult begins smoking, very few. You might entice an older adult to change to your brand, but you're not going to start them smoking. So a lot of ads, even today, are aimed at starter smokers because that's the lifeblood of the profits of the tobacco industry. Now, in these days, you would actually have pictures of young teenagers and saying, gee, I like this cigarette better than that cigarette. And they're often, playing sports or at a party or something that would indicate a happy time and that their happiness is contributed by smoking. Santa Claus was in literally dozens and dozens of tobacco ads, including some wonderful ones where Santa is sitting there puffing and blowing great streams of smoke out. This is clearly targeted at a youthful audience. When you look at how overtly hucksterish that era was from the 20s to the 50s, to realize, although that's obviously false, what's going on today is no different. That the tobacco companies, although they're constrained by regulation, by the government, they found very subtle and insidious ways to corrupt the message. And that even today, marketing to young people to begin smoking, marketing to women, marketing to blacks, and indeed, even the anti-smoking programs aimed at grade school and high school kids are often coded messages that really support smoking.
You have the effort to promote smoking in Africa, in the former Soviet Union, Latin America, and of course, China, Asia in general. This is where the big market is because a lot of the American consumers have realized what the hazards are and smoking rates are on the decline. But in many parts of the world, the epidemic is really just beginning. And that's why the 21st century is going to be the gigantic period of the epidemic. Most of the smoking deaths are in the future. Only about 100 million people died from smoking in the 20th century. In the 21st century, it could be as many as 1 billion people, 10 times as many. Because again, the long time lag, the marketing overseas, the epidemic is really mostly in the future.
All right, so next slide. So how do models/images in the advertisements change the message over time? Does anyone have any insights? If so, please unmute or type in the chat.
I see these are like famous people, influential people. It seems they use a lot of these people images. I was just wondering, in our multimedia contest, I don't think we use that often. Normally, if we draw a person, we will draw a person. We really don't use a famous person or a real person. And I kind of wonder, would using a real person or group of person be a effective way, of an anti-campaign, right? That was, they're campaigning and we are doing anti-smoking campaigning. Maybe say a group of teenagers say no to smoke or things like that. Of course, using a real person's image, you need to get some kind of agreement, right? People has to agree for you to do that. So like a waiver and things like that, but I know when people join the American Cancer Society events like our symposium and our Relay for Life, they are supposed to sign a waiver. So we can use their image. But of course, we can always ask for permission. But I just thought that may be one thought of generating these artwork. Maybe that's one of the option to think about.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting was they mentioned in the video how like when the women's suffrage movement was kind of going about, like the tobacco companies, they picked up on that and they started trying to appeal to the women to try to get them smoke. So like I was studying that because I'm taking summer school and I'm like studying US history. And I just thought it was really interesting because like these companies like they're trying to do like regardless of like whether or not their intentions are good, like they're gonna try to get people to smoke like from basically any demographic, even if they have to like lie or like say certain things that just straight up aren't true.
Yeah. I find it really interesting how, like, yeah, on the same note, like they're riding off of many trends, like women's independence, and then yeah, we can expect and anticipate more of that in the future too. Yeah. And another thing I found interesting was how the target audience for these advertisements have changed from like with models of older women or men to the younger generation. And yeah. Okay, so next slide. So this is the history of e-cigarettes. In the very beginning, they used e-cigarettes more than other tobacco products, and it was kind of a gateway to the traditional cigarette, and increased the use of both products because of the nicotine. And then as time passed, the e-cigarette use started to rise in middle and high school students, and actually reached 1 million or more middle and high school students, which was a really drastic increase. And then as even more time passed, now there are flavored tobacco products that have been designed to appeal to the youth, and such as like candy, cake, foods they like. And looking at the other graph, the development is there's like a electronic vaporizer, and then it continues to grow to become more modern almost. And eventually there's like mods and Juul and disposable Juul. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so as I was saying on the previous slide, the tobacco industry is appealing to the youth's sensations using a variety of advertisement techniques, such as fun flavors like candy, cake, the foods youth like, fun smoke clouds with different sizes and shapes. And these are all similar to old techniques that tobacco industry used as at its peak. Yeah. Next slide. And another factor is the danger of peer pleasure and pressure of doing something together, which is smoking in this case. Many people, especially youth, are depicted as having fun together, and this can include using cigarettes and smoking. And when they see other people trying it, they feel pressure to try it too. Next slide. So now they have changed their message to market e-cigarettes as a safer alternative to cigarettes because of the increased prevalence of like tobacco, everyone knowing the harms of tobacco. So they're trying to promote harm reduction. So now they market cigarettes, e-cigarettes, as a way to quit cigarettes. But actually, it is more harmful because there is a higher amount of nicotine. So we need to reiterate even more that there is no safe form of smoking. Yeah. Next slide. Oh, yeah. And so social media marketing is also becoming increasingly prevalent. For example, Juul was very masterful in attracting teens and young adults, becoming the most popular brand of e-cigarettes among kids. They went on sale on June 2015, and the revenues increased almost 800% in the span of 1 year. And so as of August, like a few years ago, Juul actually accounted for 3/4 of the market share of e-cigarette products in the United States. So they have become one of the mainstream e-cigarette products. So continuing on the journey of Juul, they started off not advertising on like standard places like TV or magazines, but went directly to social media and used many marketing techniques like ads associated with like pleasure and relaxation, style, identity, freedom, and many themes that youth today resonate with. And these ads, we can, as we see from its explosive growth, we can see that these ads were successful in promoting e-cigarettes promoting Juul among the youth. And some other notes to add are that they also employed social media influencers that endorsed Juul and used many like social media common things like hashtags and other marketing tactics. Next slide. So to continue on Juul, the federal government recently began to crack down on Juul's marketing practices. So they removed themselves from social media platforms like Instagram. However, many kids still post images promoting their products, such as these ads, these pictures on the side. And this just shows their widespread popularity on social media. Yeah. And next slide. Another thing is also that there's even jewelry, which is supposed to sound like jewelry. So it's another example of how it has proliferated among the trends of youth and style. Okay, next slide. And here's why this should concern you. This is a video from the Truth Initiative, a nonprofit public health organization dedicated to eliminating tobacco use. Here's the link to the video.
In case you're new, everyone at my school, Jules, something that is literally sweeping the nation everywhere I go. It is a whole thing.
Yo, what is going on, guys?
Today's video is gonna be a jewel sesh. We got the mango pod,
The cool cucumber medley.
I've got this creme pod because I thought it would be festive.
It tastes great.
Well, you want a head rush? Definitely the jewel.
It's probably strong. My God, bro, give me the biggest neck push.
Oh, the jewel challenge. You got to hit this thing as many times as you can.
We're doing the jewel hotbox insane buzz challenge, you dig?
I got some accessories.
Type in charging case for jewelry.
Rolo bag, storage drop.
Ghost stick.
This one is watermelon. It is literally so good.
Okay, so as you can see in this video, this shows just how much Juul has begun to spread in social media. So in this slide, you can see the growth of cigarette use and then its drop, especially with the stop of billboard ads and then increased awareness on its harms. But as you know, education isn't enough. One of the most important drives is government policy. Yeah. So what the tobacco industry is newly doing is the regulation is they have many new regulations and more limitations on advertisements and promotion. However, they are now devising new innovative strategies such as pop-up stores, events, and emotional appeal to newly attract new tobacco users. So it's really important to use government policy to ban a lot of these tactics and try to stop new growth. Next slide. So these are some pictures of Project Scum, which is targeted at gay men and homeless individuals. In particular, something you can note is that it targets many vulnerable populations and communities, such as like Asian Americans, Hispanics, African Americans, Black neighborhoods, and more. Next slide. So based on this, let's discuss a little what kinds of communities are these tobacco companies targeting and how does it impact these neighborhoods? Feel free to unmute or type in the chat.
Like I said, guys, don't be shy. But I guess I'll start first. I mean, what I noticed was like they're sort of targeting, I guess you could say, minorities. Like, as you mentioned earlier, like they're targeting homeless people and like um gay people. And like I guess it's to appeal to a market that I guess most industries don't really bother to think about, you could say, because well, we know the standard, like white, wealthy, has a decent supporting job. So like they're already catering to these markets. So like they probably are just trying to expand their reach. And like even if it seems as though like, oh, this marketing, it doesn't really affect me because, I'm not homeless or I don't identify as homosexual, like they're still trying to reach out to these communities nonetheless and like spread misinformation and try to get their products sold.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I didn't think of that. I think it can really push down these marginalized communities too, and especially since they probably have less education and less awareness of the harms of tobacco, so they are even more vulnerable to this targeted advertising. Does anyone else have any insights?
I want to say, even the targeting say make homeless, but not a lot of homeless do not stay in homeless. They become homeless because of their life situation. So if they learn a harmful habits or get the wrong information, they'll not be there all the time. They integrate it into the community and then it still will, affect, people around them. So it's not excuse. It's not okay for them to target these more unfortunate people, because eventually it will propagate no matter what.
Yeah. Um, these targeting, it's relevant to everyone. Yeah.
How
Okay.
about,
Hmm?
yes. Hey, this is Sophia. How about I just joined, sorry, like earlier I was on the road. And how about for the people who suffer mental illnesses or substance issues? And especially for people who are sub like suffering from mental illnesses, that smoking rates of tobacco use rates is much 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 higher than the like normal or regular general populations. And then a lot of time like they have the homeless situation or uh, LGBTQ plus. They have a lot of trauma. And how about like what why do the group like do you have any insights why these groups they usually suffer more of the mental illnesses problems, substance issues, and the trauma issues?
Thank you for sharing that. That was pretty interesting. Okay, so I think we can move on now. So here's a list of links. Here, there's a lot of help available to help youth stop tobacco and vaping use, and many like mobile text programs and hotlines. So if you know any way to spread this information or you know anyone who might need it, you can always email us or share these resources. And here's the evaluation. I'm going to post in the chat right now. Please fill it out. I appreciate any feedback.
And I would like to encourage everyone right now, you've got a chance, please help us to fill out this evaluation. This is tremendously important for us to improve the tobacco education sections, and we would like to hear more from you too.
All right, yeah, thank you, Annie, for that amazing presentation. Once again, we are recruiting ACS-YA stop leads for June, July, and August. So feel free to email acsforchange@gmail.com or Michelle if you're interested. And then here are some of our references and acknowledgements. And as I mentioned at the start of the meeting, if you haven't already, please register for the ACS-YA program. You'll get updates and notifications for upcoming events and anything you might be interested in, as well as, of course, the opportunity to log down your hours. And yeah, before we end this meeting, I'd just like to thank the collaborators that made it possible. So, of course, we have ACS, Goal Together for Childhood Awareness, the Global Federation of Chinese Businesswomen, the Greater LA chapter, City of Hope, Cessation for Hope, and the Asian Pacific community of City of Hope.
Can I mention one upcoming event that was not covered? I know upcoming event is the multimedia contest, and so we're happy that we are requesting more funding to add a college level. The Relay for Life for 2025, we already got a date of October 11th, and it will happen in the Arcadia. We're going back to Arcadia Community Center because we couldn't get a community center in Temple City, although we loved it. So, but that's a good center too, the Arcadia Center. So we already have a date. So we want to start planning it and also utilize the experience we learned from the symposium. So hopefully we can get better control of the food situation and many other registration uh, consideration. So, thank you very much for putting together uh, that very good food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then since Claire and Angela, both of the leaders are online, and then I don't know whether earlier you talked about the recycling campaign. And since we talked about Relay for Life, and then it's time to start, maybe the recycling effort, and then you can raise some funding for the upcoming Relay for Life.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that should be all. Thank you, Ling, for the update on the Relay for Life. And of course, encouraging everyone to participate in the multimedia contest. And yeah, it's basically it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you have a great Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.